Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. First and foremost, again, thank you for the Kaiju Legends team for joining us today. Um, I always like to start my spaces out with asking, a little bit about the team members to kind of give a quick introduction of what you do for the project, as well as what are you hoping for the project? What do you hope the project becomes for the space?
Yeah, shall I start, Yusuf?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us on. My name is Roel Weber, and I'm an entrepreneur and game developer from Amsterdam, and one of the co-founders of Kaiju Legends. I understand like Roel is like a typical Dutch name, and it's hard for everyone outside of the Netherlands, but if you just think of the word rule, like in one ring to rule them all, then you got the right pronunciation for my name.
I love that. I love the Lord of the Rings reference to help explain it too. That makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, do you mind repeating that question again? Like what?
Yeah,
So I
just
can.
just kind of introduce yourself, like who you are to the project,
Yeah,
and then if you
yeah,
guys kind of want to just summarize a little quick overview of what the project is about.
yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So I'm Yusuf Amali. I've been doing social media marketing for about a decade now. I started off in the retail world and bridged over to the crypto world in about 2017, I believe it was. And then from there, it expanded. I have a dozen advisory roles. I've got CMO roles and business development. And currently for Kaiju Legends, I'm head of marketing. So I've kind of taken charge there and just helping with the cross marketing and building the partnerships out, and just building the overall strategy of the entire project. In regards to the actual project, what I found interesting about it was that Roll and, of course, the artist, they both have super reputable backgrounds. And one of the ideas in this, the interoperability between projects, and that was like crossing, different projects into a single one. Like if you go back to the original OG projects in the space, which is like Saratobi and Spells of Genesis, um, they were the first innovators of integrating projects within each other. And, that's what kind of Kaiju wants to achieve and make it fun. So it's just not a generic PFP project, because I feel like the space is getting super saturated. But we also wanted to be realistic. We know what game development takes. We know if we promise something like an Unreal Engine 5, it's unrealistic to do in a year. It will take 4 or 5 years. And I feel like people that are not aware of that sort of stuff, you have a lot of projects promising these huge 4 or 5 year projects to be done in like 6 months, which is just not going to happen. You'll never see that come out. And yeah, we wanted to ensure everything that's on our roadmap is as realistic as possible. And also, we're going to try and have quite a few surprises on the way. So we've kind of hidden some stuff, but our connections, our knowledge across the board is super vast.
Yeah, if we talk a little bit about my background, I ran my own interactive studio for about 10 years. So I'm basically a Web 2 guy. And we would build like interactive entertainment like websites, apps, and online games for clients such as Disney and BBC and Samsung and Volkswagen and Spiel Games and stuff. So that's basically my background. Sold the company in 2018, went on a bit of a sabbatical, got bored, and started advising startups. But it felt like I was still a bit on the sidelines while other players were back in the field, and I like to create stuff. So I got back into the field. I was already into crypto, and I started gaining into the NFT world. And I also known our artist for a very long time. So we and he wanted to do something with toys and gaming as well. So we could bind that. We took the next step, combined it with the whole NFT ID, and basically formed a team of specialists with all the skills that we needed. So our other co-founder has his own development studio, and his team already had like a lot of experience on blockchain and NFT projects. So the only piece missing was like Yusuf, who helped us like navigate the Web3 NFT space for us, and helped us with business development. So that's basically, in a nutshell, our background and how we got started with the project.
I love that. I love the different kinds of backgrounds you all have, and in the creative space, and your interest and your previous background in kind of interactive media. And I think it kind of rings true, and you can kind of see that with some of the things that you guys have implemented. I know, when I first knew I was going to be talking to you guys, I wasn't very familiar with the project, but I joined your Twitter page and saw that you guys created a Flappy Bird like clone, the fart game, to kind of incentivize whitelisting. Can you kind of speak a little bit to the creativity you guys have behind the whitelisting kind of thing? I love the idea of like a mini game to incentivize that. Can you speak to how maybe that's just one thing to come that we're going to see from
Yeah.
you?
A lot of our team is from like a game development background. So when we started with the project and we started thinking about marketing and getting noticed in the space, we thought, okay, what are like big pluses that our team got? And we were like, okay, a lot of people talk about a game and they will say, oh yeah, we're thinking about a game or doing a game, and we're actually game developers, and we were like, okay, let's just make a mini game that's also functioning as like an allow list for our NFT. And we wanted like a fun game, because it a lot of projects like build around the NFT as a PFP project, and then add the game on later. And we wanted to have like a fun game with the NFT and the art like tagging along. So the gameplay needs to be good. And the fun thing is that when we talk to people in our Discord, they already got like the score needed for the allow list, and they tell us, yeah, I'm gonna play some more. So basically, people are just playing for fun, and that's always good to hear. And so basically, you needed to have like a score of 12 in the beginning to gain a whitelist spot, and we upped it now to 15 because were getting better. And we were like, okay, we need to slow this down a bit. So we upped the score to 15 for getting on the list.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about it is just like the entry. The first experience we want people to have with us is just like a fun entry. Everyone's used to the generic whitelisting meta and grinding up the discords. It feels more like human farming than actual enjoyment. So it's an angle that we wanted to take and wanted to kind of sway away from everyone else. And it has shown like in the Discord, although we haven't pushed the game very hard. We are planning to do it more, as the one-of-one start coming out and we start announcing some more partnerships. We're going to push the game more, but that's the biggest aspect for us. Like, there's a lot of newbies in the space and we want them to have a good experience, so it doesn't just feel like generic farming.
I love, because again, I love creative ways to, because, I think a lot of people think of whitelisting as super grindy and super, boring and monotonous. And I think playing, uh, again, the fart game is just like a really fun, funny way to kind of get people excited. Again, show off your skills, show off your talent, and your commitment to the project. So kudos to you guys for that. Um, Kaiju Legends Arena. I noticed on the website. Can you guys speak a little bit more about that part of everything and how that's going to integrate with the project?
Yeah, I mean, basically, Kaiju Legends Arena is like the next step on our roadmap, and it's funny enough, it's like a continuation of like the mini game, but in a much larger scale. So it's 4 player or multiplayer arena battle game with like casual gameplay. So it's like fast, fun, easy, quick, and where you can play with your Kaiju Lineage and NFT, or you could play with another NFT that you have. So if the game notices that you have, for example, a Kaiju King, then you can also play as a Kaiju King character in the game.
Yeah. Then
Go ahead.
yeah. So the initial thing is just like a PvP aspect of it. Like the biggest thing is that we wanted to combine was the interoperability with other NFT projects. Like build utility across the board. Of course, you know, to start off, we're being super realistic. We'll probably start off with the one-of-ones will be the first to be released, and then from there we'll have to create 3D renders and build out that whole ecosystem. Like we know the sort of work that needs to go behind that. Before that, we actually have another surprise coming out, maybe within like a month after launch. So there's going to be something else dropping, and then and then we're going to be full scale working towards the PvP game.
Excellent. Right on. Well, one you just mentioned it, Kaiju King. I'm a holder in Kaiju King. I've a few Genesis, and I've been a very participant in that kind of community. Is there a partnership you guys have with it, or is that just a feature you guys are going to be programming in, the ability to use different kinds of PFPs in your all's games?
Yeah, so we're working closely with them. Not like we're not, we had the typical partnership going out. They have been pushing us to integrate them within the game. We have another BD that's in communication with them, so he will know a lot better. However, they have pushed to be in the next trailer, and also we are creating something. We put a teaser in our Discord regarding that as well. But we're creating a one-of-one, and in most likely the next Fart game update, we're gonna drop some surprises with the one-of-ones we have planned. So people can start enjoying the new skins and involve other communities into it. But down the line, when we actually integrate other projects, it's going to be a lot bigger.
Awesome, love to hear that. Well, can you guys speak to a little bit more on the artwork? I know that you mentioned earlier that you were really good friends with the artist for a really long time. Can you explain a little bit about that? Because I think one of the things that makes this stand out, I think, is the artwork. It's got that kind of, I don't know, cute but also kind of punk feeling. Like it's got a kind of attitude to it. I really do like the art style of the Kaiju. Can I kind of explain a little bit more about the artist and kind of what went into that?
Yeah, like I said, I've worked with him like for I think over 8 years now. So we did like multiple projects for Disney and Nickelodeon together, and I always loved his side project because this was basically a side project. He was also always working on what he calls Pixel Kaiju. That's basically the name for the character, and that's why we went with the name Kaiju Legends, because Kaiju is like not really an excellent name in the space because of Kaiju Kings, but we found it a bit strange when the artist is called Pixel Kaiju. Then we'll to take his art and then say, yeah, this is like a Dragon Force or something like that. So that was strange. So we needed to incorporate at least the term kaiju, and then we settled on Kaiju Legends. We One of the other names that was like in the running was Crypto Kaiju, and with a K, so like Mortal Kombat style. But since we're looking to create like I would say an entertainment brand, we didn't want to weigh too much on the whole crypto stuff. So it's of course an integral part of the whole project. But for people that, for example, buy the toys in the store, it's not really needed to know that it's like a blockchain game. But back to the artist. Yeah, the art style is like we found it like really unique, and it's very vibrant colors, and like you said, it's a bit cheeky. So and one of the funny things is that this guy is besides an illustrator, he's also like a professional toy designer. So he literally designs toys for a living. And we wanted to have like a crossover with toys that you can buy in the store, or in like a toy store, with our online game. So, for example, if you buy like a certain variation of a Kaiju Legends toy in the store, you can use a code or something like that in the game, and you have like a different skin or stuff like that. So there, we are looking at crossovers from toys to the game, and that's why it's really important for us to like set up like an entertainment brand.
Yeah. If you also look on our link tree, you can see the artists at work, and you can find some of his recent recordings as well. But yeah,
Very nice. Love that. Love the idea of a toy too. And on the website, you guys do allude to a kaiju coin,
Mhm.
that, you know, the in-game currency for Kaiju Legends Arena, and then you do make reference to like the use of that coin to purchase merchandise and physical toys. So is that kind of like a full circle thing that like eventually we'll be able to use the tokens from this game to purchase those kinds of physical toys of Pixel Kaiju?
Yeah, that's the idea behind the Kaiju coin. So it's basically it will function as like a virtual currency for everything related to Kaiju Legends. But you can also buy stuff in our shop, and those things could be like virtual items, but we're also looking at like physical items. And it's funny to see that with his network as a toy designer, we already have like interest of toy companies saying, oh, this is like a cool project, and maybe come in to talk to us. And now we were like, okay, yeah, that's fine, but we still have to work on the NFT first. But it's the crossovers are there, and there's a lot of interest in the brand from the toy side of things.
Excellent. I noticed another part of it, and something we haven't touched on is, you guys mentioned for the greater good, charity fund. Can you speak a little bit more about that? Because one of my favorite parts of this is, you know, everyone makes money in NFTs and talks about how much, you know, how many cars they bought, how many houses they bought, things like that. But I feel like the kind of giving aspect is kind of brushed over. Can you tell us a little bit about the charity fund and what that means for the project?
Yeah, like you said, there's a side of projects that show how much money they made, of how much they flipped of certain projects or stuff like that. And I don't judge, because we all need like money for food and shelter and stuff like that. But on another level, it's also good to see if you have like success, it's best to share that success. And I've always done so in my company. So if we have like if we just like pulled a big job for a client and everything went well, then I always made sure that people got bonuses and stuff like that. So it's better to win and succeed with a lot of people than on your own. So for the charity fund, we were thinking, okay, if we are like in a position to help some charities, and I'm always leaning towards animal charity, because I have like a soft spot for animal charities and stuff like that. So that's why we said, okay, let's set up also like a charity fund, and let the community decide on what kind of animal charities we can donate to, or stuff like that. So that's basically important for us as well.
Excellent. I love that. Well, that's kind of all the questions that I had about the project and stuff. But I do notice, I don't want to brush over anything or have anything go by the wayside. So I always like to ask everyone that's talking, all the speakers, to maybe kind of maybe reiterate, or maybe kind of brush on one more thing that you guys want everyone to leave this conversation knowing about the project, but kind of before we get into questions from the audience. So Yusuf and if you guys want to just quickly each say a quick thing, and then we can go to the questions.
I'm not sure what you're asking there. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. No, just those are all the questions I have. So, but I want to make sure I didn't brush over anything and not ask about the right stuff.
No.
Just kind of a lasting a thing you want everyone to walk away with in this conversation about the project.
Yeah, in terms of like in regards to the timeline of the project, or when we're looking to launch, everything that we've done so far is like in the betterment of the community. We're not rushing to launch or anything in that regard. We're fully aware of like, the entire concept of the project, and all the mechanics that go into it. That's why we're pushing for more updates for the, for the pre-game, for the whitelisting. We haven't done majority of the generic stuff that other projects have, or we're not really trying to also hunt for the most current meta, to be like a typical derivative or anything like that. We know our art currently is not the most popular angle. We know it's not the current trend, and a lot of projects they will ride across that and trying to kind of ride a specific wave, which is it's still good, because anime is huge right now. We all love anime. Everyone in the team's a huge fan of anime. But we didn't want to kind of just follow along with everyone else. We know this road is going to be a lot more difficult. However, with the connections and the partnerships and stuff we have planned, I believe we will make it a huge success, and the team's here to stick for the long run.
Yeah, that's basically something I concur. If I'm looking at the project, like the NFTs is like, for us, it's like the first step, or as we call it, like the first wave. So that's basically the beginner, and everyone that basically buys a Kaiju Legends NFT gets like a ticket for the entire ride that we have planned. So and then I'm looking at like the pay to earn game, and the toys, and the ecosystem with the Kaiju coin. So we have like big plans, but still realistic if you look at like the team we assembled, and the background that we have. So we stick to the stuff that we know, and that's like casual game development, and that's where we're good at, combined with the experience of our toy designer. So that's basically what makes this project, we think, stand out in the space.
I love that. One question actually just got brought up while I was listening to you guys, was the intellectual property rights. Can you tell us a little bit more about what owners of these NFTs will have when it comes to IP rights? That's something that comes up a lot here, and I don't think anyone really knows or has managed to like take advantage of those IP rights in a lot of projects. But can you speak a little bit more about like what that has in your all's project specifically?
Yeah, basically it boils down to that owners of the NFT are like the owners of the artwork itself. so they can basically do with it what they want. If I'm like really giving like an easy answer.
No, yeah, that makes sense. And in terms of like whitelisting, obviously we talked about the mini game to whitelist. Can you give like the audience a little bit more info on ways they can get on the whitelist? Is being in the Discord needed, or things like that?
Yeah. So currently, there's quite a few ways. So we have direct partnerships. So if you're a part of a specific, project, you can ask for specific allow lists. And if the partnership makes sense, and we see the project as viable as a partner, then we give specific allow lists to those projects. The other way is that there's a limited whitelisting for the actual game, where you can whitelist by hitting a specific score. Currently, it's 15. But those slots will be running out. And currently, if you hit it, you can give us a unique code on our Discord, and essentially you'll get a role within 48 hours. There's also a whitelisting bot which has like I don't want to give out the actual the chances of it, but there's a Discord bot that if you try, um, you know, there's an organized sort of back end 1 in something chance. I'm not going to say how many it is. Um, but yeah, you can come daily and try it, and there's a cooldown. If you invite a friend and so on, it reduces the cooldown by quite a bit. But that is also limited. But our main priority right now is kind of getting the broadest, allocation of whitelist, because we know how important it is to have a large community. And that's why we're not rushing to launch. We have a lot of connections for like launch pads and so on, but we're not rushing to launch on that, because we know to build that initial community is the most important part, and that's why we want to build a broad network, because once you launch, a lot of people feel like the ship has sailed, and then they're not as happy to join in later on.
Perfect. And do we have a timeline on when we're hoping that this project starts to mint, or are we kind of like waiting it out a little bit?
Yeah, so we're fully with the current market, we're looking at end of June, because we're also talking about one of the partnerships I mentioned to you guys as well, which was yeah, we haven't actually announced it yet. I don't think publicly. We've just hinted at it, and that is we have an INO with a massive wallet. There's not too many people in here, so we can kind of for the people that did tune in at 2 in the morning for us, or 3 in the morning ones. There is a massive wallet that we're going to be integrating into the app for the launch as well. We're kind of in discussions of that. It's either going to be via a webpage or the actual app integrated, and they have 5 million registered users. So the rest of the slots are going to be taken up pretty fast. So currently, what we're doing is making it as broad as possible, and then the final bit will be them. And yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's kind of all the questions that I had coming up. Does anyone out there have any questions? You guys can raise your hand. We'll bring you up on the stage. But yeah. And again, you don't have to ask a question if you don't want to, but if you had a question from listening in, feel free. All good. Okay. Well, gentlemen, I really do appreciate it. I'm really excited. I really love the artwork. I really love, again, the creativity and the ingenuity behind, smashing the whitelist kind of grind. It seems really, really fun the way you guys are doing things. But yeah, we really appreciate you guys coming to talk to us. This will be recorded too, so everybody in our community will be able to listen to it on YouTube as well. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it, gentlemen. And if there's anyone out there looking to get into this project, jump into their Discord as soon as possible.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. It was a short turnaround time as well. Super professional. We love it.
Love the conversation, guys. Y'all have a great one.
You too. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.